The rank and file are usually much more primitive than we imagine. Propaganda must therefore always be essentially simple and repetitious. And that was said by the band Modern Talking. Good morning, I always respond to community requests, smiley face. And a lot of people have been asking for, or it might have just be the same person with multiple alt accounts. I have been astroturfed before, don't forget the Frago games. Anyway, a lot of people have been asking for games of like a slow roll division against an airborne division because with the zombie meta in full swing, airborne divisions are quite difficult to push off once they get into an area because infantry's so tanky, they just kind of sit there. It's very, very difficult to push them out, or at least a lot of people are struggling with it. So I've been asked at least twice to showcase a game, and this is the first game I've got like that. So this is me, Hippie, 9th on the ladder, playing as the 2nd Panzer Grenadier Division. And I'm up against ADLER 750, also known as ADLER 3000, or in this case, lots of spaces, then blub, then lots of spaces, and he's ranked about 32, or at least he was at the time of this game. And he's playing the 35Y Soviet VDV Division. So let's go, let's talk about the map, Loop. What's going on with Loop? So there's a good side and a bad side on Loop. But it's not as Imbra as it used to be. So Delta's a bit bigger now. Well, okay, let's start from the beginning. The issue I have with Loop is that all the zones cost loads of points. Like +3, +3, +3, +3. Really frustrating. So that means that if you don't open CVs, within like a minute you're 1,000 points behind. So that's pretty difficult to deal with. But when you're playing against an airborne div, you can't open CVs because you need those points. You need those points to contest the middle because you're going to get there second. At least that's my theory. So yeah, we got 2 zones in the middle that have to be fought over. And one of them's Alpha, where you've got this town. These 2 buildings here are extremely important, so forward deployment gets there at the same time, like red will get to here at the same time blue gets to here. And then once you get in this building, the reason that this is the weak side is that if you get a Conkers in this building, it can shoot everybody coming down this road. And this is your standard. So if you try and send somebody here, the guys will come down this road and they'll die. If you try and send somebody here, they'll come down this road and die. So what you have to do is manually path them to here, which takes ages, and then manually path them into here if the enemy gets this building. So losing this building, very important. Over on this side, it's basically even. You know, there's not much in it on this side. Could be argued that red gets a little bit more forest, so it's a little bit harder to be artied, but there's really not much in it. So this is a pretty even zone, and this one is still red favored. They tried to fix it by adding this road here, but it's not really fixed the problem. What they needed to do was add a connector road here. And that would hopefully encourage the pathing AI to fix that problem. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously, I signed an NDA, so there's certain things I can't talk about. I can't talk about future, right? So let's talk about my deployment. I'm playing as the 2nd Panzer Grenadier Division. This division's really grown on me, actually. It's a really fun division for me to play because I have to play it completely differently to the way I usually play the game. I'm usually an extremely aggressive player, and this division is all about slowing the game down as much as humanly possible and just grinding your enemies into dust. So, on the left side, we've got 2 FS Jager and an FS Milan 2. Worth pointing out that the West German FS Jager are not special forces, but they do get this pretty good rocket launcher. It's like a bad Appalachian, because the Appalachian has more range. But hey, it's you know, it's good. Look at the pen. Accuracy's not bad. Rate of fire is pretty good. It's like a bad Appalachian. Everything's a bad Appalachian, basically. And then we've got Lux, which I was sending round to here just so I could see down here, because Lux has very good optics, so that's pretty useful. 2 armor's not too shabby as well. I'm getting Jaeger Aufklärer round to here. So to talk about these deployments. So I'm deploying these quite defensively, but I end up sending one of the FS Jager to here, which was a mistake. My original plan here was quite smart. So the idea is that I'm not getting there. I mean, I'll get there at the same time as him with my couple forward deployed units, but his division is forward deployed, right? So there's no way I can contest this at the start. There's just no way. So I'm taking a defensive position, and then I just have to cope with the fact that all my reinforcements get blown up by this building. So Jaeger Aufklärer going to there, and then a Milan 2 going to there, and then the 2 FS Jager going to here, but I end up sending one to here and it dies. Talked about the looks. Got an Ihawk and a Gepard. So the Gepards are pretty good now, because their ammo went up and they actually deal more damage. So the Ihawk's going to here, and we got a supply for the Ihawk, and we've got the Gepard going to here. So yeah, we've got 4 supply, which was probably excessive. I probably should have just got a unit. But yeah, we got a supply going here, supply going here, supply going here, supply going here, so I can get rid of those. And then 2 recoilless rifles going to here, and then 2 Pioneer Armburst and 2 Pioneer Flam. So Pioneer Armburst, a shock for 45 points, 10 strength, and the Armburst, because all infantry AT deals like mega suppression now, which is good, I think. Even these cheap ATs are actually pretty useful, and the fire rate's good and the accuracy's good. The pen's not great. And then these Pioneer Flams are basically the flash or RPO equivalent, the hand flam patron. Flash or RPO equivalent for West Germany, so it's worse than both of them, like a lot worse. But you don't really have a choice. If you want to fight infantry, you kind of need to bring that. So, spoke about all that. On the right, because he might rush me on the right, and my issue is that if I get pushed out of either of these zones completely, I'm never getting back in. So I need to maintain my foothold. So I've had to deploy a lot of units here. So we got a Milan 2 going to here, and then a Jaeger Aufklärer going to here with 2 FS Jager. So that should stop any rushes down there. But no AA on that side, crucially. And spoke about did I speak about the Leopard 1A5? So bought this Leopard 1A5 just for a little bit of cheeky fire support, just to kill any like SPG-9 trucks and things like that. But you'll notice I've opened 0 CVs, and that's because if I lose either of these zones, I'm never getting back in. So I just can't afford to buy CVs at the start. I just have to put up with the fact that I'm going to be 1,000 points behind. Switching to my adversary's deployment, I believe ADLER is from like Wargame or Steel Division or something, but he's rank 32. He didn't tell me it was him, I found out after the game. So yeah, he's bought 2 CVs, so he's going to get plus 10, essentially. And then over on the left, he's got quite a defensive deployment here, actually. He probably expected me to push here. So we've got I think the Metis was going to here. Oh, the Metis was going to there. Desant Razvedka, I think they're going to there. No, they're going to there. And then Desant Conquer is probably going to this building. Yeah. And guessing's fun. So this must have been the Desant SPG-9. Nope. Alright, whatever. There you go, Spetsnaz original potato going to there and Eagle going to there. I'm ranked 9th, by the way. And then he's got a recon helicopter here. It's also worth noting that he bought a MiG-29 ASF at the start because he was expecting some sort of helicopter attack. I guess he doesn't understand. I mean, well, 2nd Panzer Grenadier doesn't really get infantry in helicopter transports. I think it might get some recon in helicopter transports. That's it. On the right, he's got 4 UAZ SPG-9s going to here, presumably. And then 2 forward deployed GAZ SPG, SPAAG, SPAG, self-propelled anti-air gun. Little cars. It's just a ZSU on a little car. They're going to there and there, presumably. He's got the CV, as we spoke about, for that cheeky plus 10. And then, yeah, he's got Spetsnaz, Origami Paper Mache, 2 Desant SPG-9s and Desant Niki Metis all going to this town. And he bought an ASF. So that about does it for the deployments, and now let's get on with the game. Right, so they're off, and everybody's going to where they said we were going to go. Apart from that FS Jager, which will get repathed. So here's the MiG, and while we're waiting, let's zoom in on this beautiful. Let's zoom in on this beautiful plane. MiG-29 probably, well, I think it's the most cost-effective fighter in the game, and then it got cheaper, which is really interesting. So yeah, he's just flying around with this, and yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for watching the video. You can subscribe and all that if you want to. I mean, it does help me out. But what I really like doing is reading the comments. So if you want to leave a comment, I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, I like reading the comments. That's why I do it, because it's like social interaction, because I don't get any. Anyway, he's got that circling around there, and here we go. Setting that FS Jager forwards, which was a mistake, and you know, I knew it was at the start, and then I changed my mind. He at least manages to unload, but look at all this. Not great. Does manage to miss a transport. It's a shame, actually. If he'd got that gas, he could have killed that Spetsnaz, but hey, whatever. And then, so he knows about this because of this recon helicopter, so he gets this out. But my IHOC's set up, but the IHOC's like spazzing out. It kept like freaking out in the forest and cancelling. Like, do you see how it's like shaking? So it just wasn't working properly, and that's just because I unloaded it in a forest. Sometimes it does that. So it does get a hit there, but you see, look, it's spazzing out. Actually, I actually don't think it hit that. I think that was the Leopard that did that damage. So, yeah, that went not so great. Over here, I am being dominated by his early game aggression. You still got the MiG circling around. I can't buy any air, because of that MiG. But buying air right now would be suicidal anyway. And then I think I finally buy the ACV. So he's like 640 points 2 minutes into the game. I mean, I think that's a bit bullshit, really. I don't understand why these zones cost so much at the back. I think to play devil's advocate, I think the idea is if you manage to push into this zone, that's a big achievement, so you should get lots of points very quickly, but what it actually leads to is this: you gotta buy 2 CVs at the start or you're screwed, but because I'm against an airborne division, I can't buy 2 CVs at the start. So we managed to get our first kill of the game, the Spetsnaz, and he's sending these SPG-9s around, and the Lux will kill those. Or it'll kill that one. This one's hidden, so I can't really see it because of the defilade. But we've managed to hold our own here. We are trading quite poorly. You'd expect to. He's strongest at this point in the game, and then it's all downhill from there. The advantage of bringing Panzer Grenadier Marder in the Marder 1A2 is that you can buy 4 in a minute. So I bought 4 of those. Spamming out Marders isn't that cost effective anymore because of how bad the autocannons are right now. So my enemy's halfway to victory. 3.5 minutes into the game. And we get smacked by that because this guy's on hold fire, so I didn't actually know that there was somebody in that building. And the IHOC, is it still spazzing? Might be still spazzing. It's just, yeah, it just does that sometimes if you unload it in a forest. Like, he comes back around now, and it's still, like, spazzing out. Like, I haven't given it an order, it's just sort of moving. Here we go. Okay. Oh, okay, so it got that, and then, so it did 9 damage, and the Leopard did 2 damage, and the plane's got 10 HP, so there it goes. It really is a beautiful game, isn't it? So, bring up these Leopard 1A, 1A, 1A1s, and these are 75 points. But that one explodes immediately when this hits it, and the SPG hit it in like the same frame, I think, because this shouldn't one-shot that. But I saw the health go down. Anyway, he's still +2, he's at 1200. I haven't moved this up yet, so that's my fault. And yeah, I guess I should have bought those CVs a bit earlier, but I felt like if I did, I'd lose. And that, you see this problem, right? So we got this ATGM helicopter just because I realised he was like sneaking SPG-9s through and stuff like that, and that's quite useful for that. And yeah, I hadn't seen any ADLERs or anything. Opponent buys 2 mortars, and he's got some helicopters out. I'm not sure why anybody would buy this, but hey, whatever. It's 125 points, but it's not armoured. It's got lots of rockets, which is why people like it. You see the resupply cost on helicopter rockets just an absolute absurdity. I don't understand why it's so much higher than everything else. Well, I do, but let's leave it at that. And then this Conquer is actually in a really good spot because it can shoot stuff coming down that road. Although I think because of the speed of the missile, it will never hit them. If they're wheeled, if they're tracked, it probably might. And here we go. 6 minutes into the game. I'm 1,311 points behind. And I finally stopped the bleed. So I'm quite content to just build up now. I'm a late game div, at least in I'm like a 30-minute div. So mid to late game div, more on the late side. And I saw that Conkers was exposed, and I know you can basically just air bully 35Y if he's not paying attention with the fighters. Like his AA is not great, so quite content to just get some sniper kills like that. So he sends out a seed, and I think I'd switch this off. Yeah. And then this thing's got the turning circle of a brick, so it shows its back to me, and then I shoot it in the back, and it goes down. Eyehawk, 9 damage, Leopard, 1 damage. He does get another one of those, but yeah, it's obviously not great for him. So this time I sent these guys around there and there, but these guys I sort of forgot about, and this is my point. He's got the Conquerors in the wrong building. If that was there, it would have done a lot more damage. And you see the Metis does not one-shot a Leopard 1 in the front. Over here I've taken this building. He doesn't actually have that much there, but with the SPGs coming up, this will lose that fight. I should have moved up the Leopard really, but I was focusing on this. And yeah, you see this Metis sort of messing me up. And I take 2 hits there. But yeah, just slowly starting to push him back. To be honest, buying the Marders probably wasn't very smart. I should have gone a Pioneer arm burst here. I've got 3 mortars of my own. I smoke off of this, and the other 2 don't do anything. And this guy gets routed, because he's only 1 vet, so with all this shooting at him, he gets routed out of the building. And we now know about this. So yeah, the Panzer Grenadier Marders, because they're the guys, because they're only 5 men. It's not actually that much. You don't get that much utility out of them in zombie meta. So you buy this unit for the Marder, but then autocannons don't really do anything. So here we go. Got the Fliegerfaust and the Gepards to all shoot at once. Fliegerfaust both miss. Gepard slowly doing something. Fliegerfaust misses again. Oh, Fliegerfaust decides to shoot something else. Gepard does the job for him, and he manages to land this one in time, so this one survives. But yeah, that's the Fliegerfaust moment. And yeah, he's bought 2 more mortars now to pepper this side. Probably an overinvestment in mortars. And so I buy these guys for counter battery. Quite content to just sit back and, counter battery against these foot mortars is pretty useful, particularly when they sell their transports and then they can't move. So I've got these mortars and I'm not really using them very effectively. Just slowly moving up, but so these 30mm are really good. You see how this guy's like just immediately low cohesion. But yeah, quite content to take it nice and slow. Or at least I should be, that's the divisional idea, but I personally am quite an aggressive player, so I'm always fighting the urge. And yeah, you see, this Afghansky actually isn't that bad against infantry. It's actually pretty good fire support, you see, he's killing it. You see how slow infantry dies though, I mean look at everybody's just sort of sitting around, like we move the Marders up, you'll see once the Marders start firing that they just don't really do anything. It's a really sad meta. I don't understand why those values were reduced so much. Like infantry still doesn't really do much at all. But yeah, it's an old person meta, a geriatric gameplay. What can you do? But these guys are getting hammered, look. And you see, you move up these 6 Marders and a Leopard 1A5. And then they slowly take out the enemy. Like they're all shooting. Oh dear. Oh my gosh, he lost 1 HP. Can you believe it, guys? So we also fire an M270. This is what it takes to shift an airborne division out. So we're also firing M270, we're also firing howitzers, we're also firing mortars. This is what it takes. You're asking me about this. This is what it takes. So we are slowly getting there, but he's got this T-64 BV now, which will kill all this. If microed correctly. Yeah, I'm just going to turn the volume down, sorry about this. So yeah, let me know about volume and stuff. I was just looking at the sound profiles and it looked like my microphone was equal to my my gameplay, which probably you want the microphone to be a bit higher, right? Anyway, these Marders, you know, all 6 of them finally managed to kill some, and then we smoke them back because they're smoking in front of them and then reversing, and this guy's on their side. He's actually going to kill a lot of them. So that's a shame. We lost 1 on our exit. So we send these 2 AT planes out, and I think they both missed. We also had this, but that didn't do anything. You can sort of air bully 35Y. I think I mentioned that already. These mortars have stopped shooting, which is bad. And I think he does clip me on my way out, you know. Yeah, there you go, he clips me on my way out. My iHawk does nothing. Probably because it's on attack move, which means that once the guy passes its range, instead of the missile still firing, it just cancels it. But yeah, the Leopard will clip him a bit, so he'll be out for a couple of minutes. Leopard 1A5 against anti-tank gun at a range of like 1 meter. The Leopard will win, apparently. Particularly when I've got forest cover bonus and he doesn't. Over here, yeah, he's still mortaring me. But my counter battery is eventually catching up with him, right? So he lost 1 on this side, the other one's on 1 HP. Now he's going to lose these as well because he's not moving them. And yeah, so we buy some more Leopards. So that was perhaps too aggressive from me. Like I said, I'm too aggressive in my gameplay. This guy can't actually see this, and he's got some wacky sightlines. If I'd sent him here, he could have killed this, but I didn't, so that's my fault. Should have had a recon unit with it, really. So yeah, we've got the Mars, we've got the howitzers. They're not shooting, though, which is a mistake. He managed to sneak, so I saw some guys coming over here from this, so I knew about this, so I sent this over, and then this arm burst will defeat that. He's sending some SPG-9s now, but I see it. And this guy survives, which is not great, and this guy wasn't in a position to intercept anything, so that's not great either. He brings out these rocket planes, and he knows about this. Loads of people keep adding me today, I don't know what's going on with that. So that's going to lose targeting because I drive it away. And that will give him a +2 tick for a few seconds. So he knew about this because of that Razvedka. So he brings it back around. But you know, I've moved it. These rocket planes are so inconsistent. Like, look, it's just not firing. They're really inconsistent. It's just really, really not great. I should invest in a fighter, really, but I'm noob. And we got the mortars back up. And the howitzers have successfully counter-batteried 1 of his mortars. And the Mars should really be shooting all the time, but it's not. And this is a good spot to be in, because, you know, if he tries and unloads here, you get him. Could have done with some SPG-9s, M40A1s, recoilless rifles, just in these buildings here would have been really useful. And a recon, like a flippin' Jägeraufklärer in this building would have been really useful, but instead he's here, just getting shot by this SPG-9. There we go. Whoa. I didn't like that. Blimey, what's going on with that? So yeah, that manages to shoot through there and kill that. We also lose this munition because that gets shot through there by the Metis. This rocket plane's still about. Basically, you don't get them for the rockets, you get them for the 5-pen GSH gun. And I send these out for the SPG-9s. 35% accuracy. Doesn't even fire its missile. And then I just sort of forget about him. So then this guy comes and kills him. Over here, I chucked the howitzers at this little bit here, because I assumed his CV was there, and it was, and it died. So I'm +2 now. 20 minutes left to make up this lead if we can. And I knew he had people in here, so that's what you hit them with the Mars for. Just keep in mind that these airborne divisions don't get good artillery. And yeah, so I finally bought a fighter, and he doesn't accomplish anything. I figured he was probably quite weak on this side, because I've got this guy here, and he doesn't really see anything. So I buy 5 Leopard 1A1A1s. Because I know that he's reinforcing this really heavily. And see, you see the power of the M270. Look, it's just made all these useless. What I should have done is fired that and then attacked immediately. But I wasn't in a position to attack because I don't have enough recon. So yeah, quite content to just pummel him with the artillery, and we're going to build up for a big attack here. And he's like mortaring me with these 120mm. They're better if they're closer, and they're not that close. So you deliberately parked this guy behind this building to inconvenience me, but this guy's got no ammo, so I'm quite happy to just drive all these into him and kill him. Because he'll only get one shot off, and because it's heat. This is heat, so the pen on this doesn't get better the closer you get, whereas this is kinetic, so the pen does get better. Although at max range, this will kill that little truck anyway. So I need to build up for a big attack here. Probably shouldn't have revealed as I have here. And there you go, see, you got a side shot on it. Mr. Vile. Over here, just trying to take this guy out. You see that Amethyst does not one-shot a Marder 1A2. Gets it down to 1 HP. So that's what, 17 pen. What's the Dragon 2 pen? It's like 18 or something, I actually don't know. And so I decide to attack preemptively before my AA support arrives, although I've got a second Ihawk here. And before my infantry support arrives, I decide to attack, because I'm like, whatever, there's no one here. And I'm mostly correct. So he gets another CV and he puts it in the same place. And because of the way this bulges out, like, we know where it is. From when he moves it in, you know, the red starts in a certain place, right? So when you blow up like this without a support, you really do leave yourself open to cast planes, and so we lose 2 Leopard 1A1s for nothing. And on the helicopter, Ihawk hits its second round. I mean, it's got like 55% accuracy, and we do have the fighter, which should have been up a bit sooner. So we've managed to push him out of here. We're going to hit this again, because we might as well. And then this hits as well. So, you know, the Ihawks are really good if you take care of them. Particularly because he wasted his seed. Obviously the M270 is not going to be enough to kill that CV tank. So perhaps it would have been better spent here. Well, I would have fired it here, but there's nobody here. You see that he's deliberately pulled them back. So I would have wasted it either way. This is another thing why people don't like playing into 35Y right now. A lot of heavy tanks, T-80B, Leopard 2s, even the Leopard 1s, they all lost availability, but the T-64 didn't. So 35Y gets like more heavy tanks than a lot of infantry, you know, a lot of mechanized divisions. It's kind of silly. It was probably an oversight. I assume they're going to fix that one. And yeah, so we sent this guy forwards just to scout. This guy's shooting, so we know that's the CV. Get the mortars firing on this guy. But this attack was preemptive. I'm too aggressive. I could definitely have dragged this out another 10 minutes. Like, these guys aren't firing. I should have waited for this to fire, like, but yeah. So all these guys are actually really low HP, because of that. You know, he never really healed him up from the M270 before, so maybe this was a good attack, although these guys should be moving forwards. And I should have waited for my Leopard 2A3. And you see how many T-64s he's got, all these 2-vet tanks. And because of this here, he sees that, and I can't shoot him, because that's an ATGM and a Gona. That's pretty good. I think this will one-shot a Leopard 1. 21 pen. I think it will. I might be wrong. So he's getting lots of people up to here. We got a Leopard 2A3 for this side. I had this infantry that I deployed for this push that I never needed, so I just left them there. This guy behind this hill should be somewhat difficult to shoot, and he is running into these Eyehawks again, although the one on this side is sort of out of position. So yeah, he does get that, but then my fighter gets him. We air raid him on this side, so that misses because of the smoke. That's probably going to hit, but it doesn't really do much. And the seed, he doesn't have any seed capable AA. So me buying this seed was actually a total brainlet moment because it's never going to do anything. What you can do is use its higher ECM to soak shots, but given how expensive it is, you might as well just soak shots with another bomber. So that wasn't very intelligent, really. This guy's getting shot to pieces and should probably pull back, but I'm feeling pretty confident, and it's been more than 20 minutes, so I can't play the game anymore. When you group together your leopards like this, one shot will damage multiple. So you see that they've both taken cohesion damage there. And he sent these guys all the way back, which means he's kind of empty here. Like instead he should have brought the supplies forwards. And, oh, let's see if this one-shots it. Oh, I missed. And then he takes a crit. So that's a skill issue on his behalf. I'm not sure why he chose to take that crit. Anti-tank gun's really strong right now. So, yeah, and he's moving these guys around the back, which is intelligent. So, as soon as I saw this, I should have pulled back, because I don't know what happened to my Leopard. Seems like it... Oh, it's all the way back here. And so I should have just immediately smoked and backed. But I was like, well, look, I think I've got a pretty overwhelming advantage here. I'm just going to tank it and run at him and try and kill a CV. So, you know, that I don't advocate for that if you want to win. But I was just like, whatever. Because, yeah, this thing is made to stop this kind of push. Look how many missiles it has. And they do one shot. And the accuracy is great. And it's got motion accuracy, so it can, like, move from side to side while it's doing it. You see, it's just popping everybody. Send the seed out, but he lands it, and then he takes off again. So I send another plane behind that, because I expected him to do that. So yeah, potentially not a very intelligent idea, but we get it. And sadly we lose that, and this guy doesn't really, you know, his turning circle's too big, really. Can't really get a shot on him. Oh, he gets him. Oh, okay. So yeah, that seed purchase was really intelligent. I'm really intelligent. And this guy, he's not really pulled him back, so he's going to die now. So there he goes. We move up those Marders, and yeah, we're now +4 with 16 minutes left. Probably could have bought those CVs at the start a bit earlier, and here we go, he's going to counter push me here now. So he's got 3 T-64 BVs. I noticed that all this was here, because I could see it. You know, I've got a recon here. And so I figured out, whatever, I'll just push his back zone. See if we can get there. I had a bomber off cooldown, so I got that. You see the Leopard ones just really just can't trade against these heavier tanks, but the point is that you're supposed to have more of them. And these guys, if only they'd got there a little bit earlier, because, you know, this guy already took 1 HP damage before he even got in the building. But I bought him too late. And then, yeah, so they do start messing him up. So it's kind of hard for him to push here, particularly without artillery preparation, which he doesn't get. I mean, he could buy Nonas and do some smoke. And then I chucked the M270 in. It had about 4 rounds in it, so I just shot those there. They do a little bit. AT plane doesn't shoot. Bomber will get that Desantno-Shturmovaya. We know his fighters are all dead. He sends out a seed plane and SU-25. These Milans are still shooting these, and there you go, he loses a T-64. The seed stops me from using my Eyehawks to cover my advance here, and we lose the Eyehawk. Because I only had 2 of them on it. I only had the Leopard and the Eyehawk on the control group, so he focuses the Leopard. Because I had it switched off because of the seed. And yeah, so great airplay from him, but I mean, it's really too little too late. Like, I'm about to get over here. Do I send the CV? Do I buy another one, something like that? But yeah, I mean, GG. You asked me how to push an airborne div out. That's how you push an airborne div out. You make sure that you don't at the start you need to make sure that you've got this small foothold, otherwise you're just going to lose. And probably going to lose this. Yeah, ADLER will probably tap out on its way out. There's a lot of ADLERs. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, sacrifice buying CVs, because the fact of the matter is the game's going to go late anyway if you have any chance of winning. So, you know, sacrifice buying the CVs if you can. Maybe I should have bought one at the start. Probably could have gotten away with buying one, and then I wouldn't have been minus 10. And then yeah, just slowly smack him to death with your fire superiority and artillery advantage, and don't let him use his air advantage. Build up loads of AA before you start doing anything. Like you saw the Ihawk, the Gepards, the second Ihawk. He just couldn't use his air advantage. I kept man pads and stuff with every push, so he couldn't use his helicopter advantage. And yeah, so he was 36 before we played. Now he's 29. So I'll put 29 in the description. Apparently he's just being somebody famous. And I'm rank 9. What were we gonna check? So yeah, the Leopard 1 spam's pretty good. Don't spam Marders as much as you spam Leopard 1s. And, you know, the mortars did a bit. Not letting him use his air. That KA cooler, I want to see how many kills that got. See, these T-64s are really good. It's one of the reasons 35Y seems so strong right now. So this got 4 Leopard 1A5s, which just shouldn't have happened, really. I could have stopped that at any point by just stopping the push. But you know what I'm like. So yeah, GG, I hope you enjoyed the game. And yeah, remember to subscribe and etc.